Yo, what's good? It's your boy Big Steve, and welcome to the Haze and Blue, where we smoke and talk Michigan football. So let's get into it. So tonight we're gonna be talking about the running backs group, featuring Donovan Edwards, Kalia Mullins, Dunlap, and Benjamin Hall. Kind of a group that we do outside of Donovan Edwards. We kind of know what we're getting out of the rest of the guys. So, kind of interesting group. Can it be a chance we take a look into the portal for a second for another running back? Or do we feel we got the depth chart as of right now, including some freshmen coming in? So, first off, we got the Don, man. I ain't done too much to say. He's already a solidified Michigan legend. Senior didn't have quite the year that that a lot of people felt. I'm pretty sure even himself felt he shouldn't have last year after almost running for 1,000 yards his sophomore year. Last year he had 119 carries, just under 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. Everybody know the national championship game with the 2 big runs and the 2 touchdowns. So the Don is a solidified Michigan legend, but I'm thankful that he did return his senior year. And with NIL and running backs are so underpaid in the NFL, I'm pretty sure that played a part in it. So I'm very thankful that the Don came back his senior year. He's one of them guys, man. I think everybody we know he's a fucking home run hitter. But sometimes, like I say, not going off the spring game, but it just so happened that when I saw it, it made me think of his style of running. He's more of a find the hole, then attack, than more of the attack type running back. He gained some muscle. They say he gained about 10 pounds. 10 pounds of muscles coming into this year. He did go down with a lot of one-arm tackles last year. A lot of one-arm tackles. He was always looking like he's finna break for a big run and then will always get fucking shoestring tackle, arm tackle. So I'm hoping this year that this is the year where he comes out and really solidify himself as one of the best running backs in the nation. And I think he will do it. And then behind him, we have Kalia Mullins, the senior running back / linebacker. Plenty people hoping that he can have that Hassan Haskins type year. I don't see it, to be honest. I believe, around Hassan's sophomore year, kind of junior year, you saw that he had potential, especially with the Notre Dame game, that he had potential to be a number one back. With Kalia Mullins, you kind of know what you're going to get. He's a hard runner. I believe he's a number 3 back at best. So a part of this video going to be who can be that number 2 back. And that's going to be a big question regarding this year's team. Kalia Mullins, like I say, 6'2", 240 pounds. He had the fumble against TCU on the 1-yard line, but then he had the big throw that earlier in the year against Ohio State on the 3rd down play, the running back throw. So he's had some plays in big games to where he's a known guy. He's a known player. Like I said, he get the tough yards. I just feel he's mostly can be used as a short yardage type guy. He has yet, he had, I believe, a 10, 15-yard run against Washington in the national championship game. But I ain't see too many runs throughout his career where I feel that we can rely on him to be that number 2 back. sort of what Donovan Edwards been doing to Blake and what Blake was doing to Haskins. So this is a good chance for him to step up. You know, I believe that he stayed around for his opportunity, and maybe this the year that he takes that step, and like I say, can probably get about 600 to 700 rushing yards. We know that with Alex Orji, Michigan is gonna probably run the ball a lot more. And so maybe he can get that opportunity, get 600, 700, maybe more rushing yards as that number two back. Um, but then after him, we have the sophomore Benjamin Hall. Played a little bit early on in the season last year. Kind of, I believe he dealt with some injuries. Um, was kind of a big time, not a big time recruit, but he was a guy that Mike Hart liked a lot out of South Carolina. Actually, was the third running back in high school. So that got to be crazy to have three running backs all go fucking D1. But Benjamin Hall, man, 5'11, 230. Showed a couple plays in the spring game. Like I say, he's kind of in the same boat to me as a Khalil Mullins. He don't really show too much breakaway speed. He's more, 8 to 10 yards. Hopefully, if you get 10-yard runs from him, it seems like that's the potential he has shown. Big guy. Like I say, Mike Hart actually fucked with dude heavy. And this gonna be the year where somebody outside of Donovan Edwards can solidify themselves as a number two running back, possibly number one. So Benjamin Hall, man, 5'11, 230, sophomore out of South Carolina. I believe he had a couple injuries last year. With Blake and Donovan getting majority of the carries, it was cool to see he did get some action. But with Mike Hart leaving, this is a guy I won't be surprised if he enters the portal, especially if he's in a situation where a freshman probably can come and challenge him for that two or third running back spot. So behind him, we have Travier Dunlap, 6 feet, 225 pounds, senior, been around for a while. He's definitely a guy. He ran hard in the spring game. Always kind of shows some potential. He kind of remind me the guy from he played for Michigan a couple years ago. End up going to the Bengals, had an all right Evans. He kind of reminded me of Evans, but just like Hall, I can possibly see him going in the transfer portal as well. And so that's two running backs so far that can possibly enter the transfer portal. And if you haven't heard this earlier on in the day, total different subject, but DJ Waller, the corner that I talked a lot about my last video, has entered the transfer portal, and that has happened. I don't think he's going to be the only one. Like I said, I can see Benjamin Hall or possibly Dunlap at the running back spot entering the transfer portal. So with that being said, is there concerns at running back? I'm not too concerned, but just the running backs we had in the spring game, if something was to happen to Donovan Edwards, just those running backs, is a very fucking concerning thing. When I say Khalil Mullins to me is a third back, maybe he can prove me the fuck wrong. Nobody saw Hassan Haskins really having the career he had at Michigan to end it. So he can always prove a nigga wrong. So I hope he do. But Benjamin Hall's another guy. I think he was strictly a Mike Hart type guy. And with Mike Hart leaving and Michigan hiring a new running backs coach who's probably going to want to bring in his type of players, Benjamin Hall and Dunlap can possibly be in the portal. They champions. Shit, why not go get paid? Khalil Mullins, I think he's a Michigan guy. He's going to stay. But is there concerns at running back? Kind of, but we'll see. Running back number 2. Who's going to be running back number 2? That's a very fucking big position in this offense when you run a run-heavy offense. We're going to need about 2 or 3 running backs that we can depend on in this type of offense. But so with that being said, a guy I feel who is all going to depend on is the 4-star recruit, moved up a lot in the recruiting rankings, towards the end of his football season. I believe he moved up to all the way to top 6 running back in the nation, Jordan Marshall. This is going to come down to how good can this kid be as a true freshman. It's crazy because I've been waiting to see him for a while now, that when the spring game came on, he was the main guy I was looking for. But then I had to realize that motherfucker's still in high school. So a lot of things is going to depend on Jordan Marshall. He was Mr. Ohio, and as you know, that the state of Ohio is one of the few states up north that really, really focus on high school football. I know Detroit Cass Tech recently in the last couple of years have became sort of a powerhouse in Michigan. But as far as the overall state, Ohio has a tradition of putting some good running backs out. So to get the best running back in Ohio, Jordan Marshall, is going to be a lot on his shoulders. And I believe he's willing to step up the opportunity. I felt when Mike Hart was announced that wasn't coming back, I was scared for a second that Jordan Marshall may back out of his commitment. But from the videos I see and just hearing about him, it seems like he's in Michigan for the long run, and which is going to be dope because, like I say, hopefully he can come in and be that guy like Donovan Edwards was his freshman year, but in a bigger role. He's about 5'11". They say he's about 190. Hopefully he's about 200 pounds once the season come around. But we're going to see in fall camp that he's going to be that guy that we can look at as running back number 2. Jordan Marshall, I'm looking forward to really seeing dude ball out, man. Hopefully he's the guy that all the hype is saying he is, because we really go fucking need him right now. Because like I say, behind Donovan Edwards, maybe Benjamin Hall can show some in fall camp, but just the eye test so far. When Donovan Edwards came in, he was the third back, and you saw like, damn, this dude gonna be special. Whether it was the game in Maryland when he had like 10 catches, 100 and some yards, the one hand catch, the touchdown pass to Roman Wilson in the Big Ten championship game. You saw that as a freshman. You saw Blake Corum as a freshman. I haven't really saw much in Benjamin Hall or Dunlap to say, well, these dudes can be a Michigan Big Ten running back. Like I say, Khalil Mullins, possible where he's getting more reps. He's been in the system for a while now. He has played in some big games and made some plays in some big games. And also, I'm gonna just throw it out there. I think with NIL, it might don't happen. But if he's wanting to develop into a real running back, why not Dylan Edwards to Michigan? With Sherrod Moore's system, with the running backs, the offensive line, he's a Midwest guy from Kansas. There's a possibility that he probably go to Kansas, which they have a great program right now, not on Michigan's level, but they have some players in Kansas that can play. But Dylan Edwards to Michigan don't sound bad. I'm not saying I heard this. I just remember in the TCU game, as the fucking world saw last year, the first game of the season, where he came out and balled out. Shorter guy with speed, can probably do some shit in space. So I'll maybe, like I said, if Sherrod Moore feel that Jordan Marshall can come in and be an X factor from day one, then hey, it don't make sense. But if you somebody like Edwards that want to come to a big powerhouse program that's known for running the ball, known for having big, good offensive linemen, why not put Michigan on the top of that list? So, like I say, as I'm concerned, kind of just depend on if Jordan Marshall's that guy or not. Because you know what you're going to get out of Khalil Mullins. You hoping that Donovan Edwards has that breakout, 1,100, 1,200, maybe more type rushing yard season. But if not, then running back number 2 is going to be very, very fucking a big concern. Like I say, I think Donovan Edwards can be that guy, but with injuries, you never know. We're going to need a running back number 2. And if Donovan Edwards was to go down, the running backs we had in that spring game, like I said, Khalil Mullins, maybe, been in that system for a while. He has shown flashes. He has shown that he can, get the hard yardage, run hard. So maybe he can surprise some motherfuckers. But other than that, running back 2 is really going to be a concern for going into the season. Hopefully Jordan Marshall balls out, because that'd be a dope scene to see a young Jordan Marshall, a young Jaden Davis kind of develop like the Donovan Edwards and J.J. McCarty situation. Young tight ends, this can be a team that can really make some noise. So, like I say, man, Dylan Edwards to Michigan, that sounds dope. Cole Cabana, the freshman from last year, I believe he was the top running back in Michigan last year. I haven't heard too much about it. About him, he's supposed to have been a speedster. I didn't see him playing the spring game, and they didn't. I haven't heard too much shit about him, so I'm assuming that either he's hurt or he's probably gonna be in the portal soon. So, like I say, man, there you have it, man. Your Michigan running backs, the Don, Khalil Mullins, Jordan Marshall, Benjamin Hall, Terrier Dunlap, and possible Dylan Edwards. But other than that, go blue.